Good morning, children. In today's class, we are going to study the last practices of crop production is storage of food grains. See, in last class, we have studied what is harvesting and what is the techniques of harvesting food grains and all. So, in today's class, if it comes to, we know that after different stages of harvesting, threshing, winnowing, now we have to protect that food grains without damaging, because we have to eat, we have to store for a little long time, and we have to eat regularly. So storage is very difficult to maintain this, what we can say, properly. That is only called as storage of food grains. So the fresh food grains, like suppose wheat, the fresh food grains like wheat obtained by the harvesting of crops contain more moisture, understanding, than required for their safe storage. Are able to clear? The fresh food grains obtained by the harvesting of crops contains more moisture. So if you do the harvesting process, after the harvesting process, the food grains, they contains little bit more amount of water content, means moisture, than the required for their safe storage. So if you keep that, if you store these grains with the same amount of moisture, they will definitely they will going to damage. So the food grains like wheat obtained by harvesting, the crops are dried in the sunshine. So after harvesting, we should not store them directly because they contain little bit more moisture, which is not suitable for the safe storage. So we have to, after harvesting, we have to keep this, we have to dry it in this kind of food grains in the sunshine before storing. Understanding why we need to sunshine before storing? Because we have to dry, because to reduce their moisture, to reduce the moisture content. To reduce the moisture content, we have to dry it in the sunshine. So it is necessary to reduce the moisture content of grains before storing to prevent their spoilage during storage. Prevent their spoilage during storage. So because the higher moisture content in food grains promotes the growth of fungus, and molds on the stored grains, which damages them. So molds means some kind of organisms which will grow on the some kind of like a small plants, like molds will grow, understanding, like a leech. That is why we have to remove that unnecessary moisture, which we can save storage, okay, and makes them lose their germination capacity also. Germination capacity. So if they are containing the same amount of moisture, again that after a few days, again that food grains, they may start germinating. So that is the reason molds on the stored grains which damages them. Understanding means they may lose their germination capacity. That is the reason. So the farmers store the dried food grains at home in metal bins, means some kind of a big metal drums or bins will be present. So in that the farmers will store. So what is going to happen? This fungus will grow, or else this molds will grow once this this food grains may contains the more amount of moisture. So what is going to happen if these molds and fungus will grow, means they may cause us to lose the germination capacity of the food grains. Means again, after if you try to cultivate, that food grains may cannot grow properly because they may damage it by the fungus and some kind of molds. So that is the reason why the farmers will, before storage, they used to keep for dried in the sunshine to remove the unnecessary moisture. So the farmers store the dried food grains at home in metal bins or metal drums, we can call them as, and jute bags, and also jute bags. So this is all a famous method to store the food grains. So jute bags called as gunny bags. What we used to call gunny bags. So which is prepared with the what we can say, jute plants. Understand, jute plants. So a dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home. Also a dried neem leaves, they will be, it's like they will never allow the some kind of beetles to eat these food grains and all. So that is why a dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home. For example, when wheat is stored at home in iron drums or else iron bins. Okay, iron metal bins, and some dried neem leaves are put in it, because neem leaves protect, protect the stored food grains from pests, some kind of pests, and some kind of insects, beetles, and some kind of microorganisms. So that is why we have to add a dried neem leaves before going to store the food grains in the metal drums. So also we are having some kind of the government agencies like Food Corporation of India, FCI. So we can see that Agmark, like every kind of food, like a chips packets and all, we used to having a FASI code, FASI code, correct or not? Like that, we are having a FCI, Food Corporation of India. What we used to call Food Corporation, Food Corporation of India. So FCI, this is the standard one. Understand, Indian organization which will decide the quality of food. Okay, so the government agencies like Food Corporation of India buy grains from farmers on a large scale, and they will store in a big godowns, we can call it as, where we used to store the all kind of food grains is called as food godowns, we can call it as godowns. So they will, this kind of FCI, understand, Food Corporation of India will buy this kind of a large amount of grains from the farmers, and they will store in big godown so that it can be supplied throughout the country, understanding, around the year, understanding. So the large scale storage of food grains, like any kind of wheat or rice, will be done in a two ways. That is, in one way is one in gunny bags, and the next one is grain soils, silos. So grain silos means a big drums. I will even draw the picture, like, understanding. So like this, these are the two techniques which we use to store the food grains, like wheat and rice. Okay, so we know that we are having a large scale of storage of food grains like wheat and rice is done in two ways. That is, one in what? One in gunny bags. And the next one is, these gunny bags we will store in where? Godowns. Like in second one is grain silos. Understanding, grain silos. So these are the two methods to store the large quantity of food grains. So the most common method of storing food grains on a large scale is to fill them in a gunny bags. Okay, stitch the mouth of gunny bags tightly and keep these gunny bags one over the other in a big godowns. Understanding. So we can see that godowns will be a very large rooms. So one after one, they will, is like a very, understanding, one on another, they will store them, this kind of food grains. Okay, so they will they will fill in the gunny bags, and they will stitch the mouth gunny bags tightly, and then keep them gunny bags one over the other in a big godowns. Understanding. So a pesticide solutions are sprayed on the stacked gunny bags in the godown. Understanding, from time to time they protect to protect the grains from damage by pests during storage. Okay, so the grains from damage by pest during the storage, we used to use by some kind of pesticide. So the population of rats in the godowns is also controlled by using by killing them with a rat poison. Understanding, by using a rat poison from time to time. So we know that even a government godowns and all, we used to see that a large amount of rats is going to grown up, and they will develop, and they used to damage our food grains. So that is why we have to kill this kind of rats also by using a rat poison for the time to time. And we have to, from protecting from some kind of pests and all, we need to use the pesticides. Okay, some kind of harmless, which should not be damage the food grains, which should not affect the humans, but we have to pour, understanding, around the sides of this storage food grains. So what is going to happen? Though a gunny bag is not an ideal container for food grains, but it's a greatest advantage is that food grains filled in gunny bags can be easily transported and distributed of various places. Okay, so the population of rats in the godowns is also be controlled by killing them with the rat poisons for time to time. Though the gunny bags is not an ideal container because the ideal gunny bags is not that much strong. Correct or not? We can store them in a metal containers, but if we store them in a gunny bags, we can easily will distribute and we can easily will transport. Because suppose if you store in a big containers, a big metal bins, while you are transporting, again you have to pack in some kind of bags and we have to transport. So it is a transportation and expenses are more. So that is why storage in this kind of gunny bags, it is very easy to transport and easy to even distribute of various places. But if you store this in godowns, for time to time we have to protect. Pesticide solutions must be sprayed and the this kind of storage stacked gunny bags in the godowns from time to time, from protecting from the where, protecting from the kind of pests and all. So these grains from damaged by the pests during this storage. Okay, so and so many kind of unwanted substances also will be additional bacteria, fungus, and some kind of microorganisms will grow. So if you spray these pesticides, they will never be. So that is why regular checkup also must be. From the time to time, we have to check all the complete go down, and we have to find that somewhere any kind of gunny bags will damage, immediately have to replace them with some other gunny bags. Somewhere any kind of leakage, we have to completely stitch immediately. Like these things you have to be take care. If not, it will be damaged very fastly. So in addition to the gunny bags method of storing food grains, the grain silos are also used for storing food grains on a large scale, or else a bulk storage of food grains. So the grain silos, understanding, are a specially designed big and a tall cylindrical structure. So they will be looking like this. A tall cylindrical structure. So bottom also it is having some kind of conical shape. So it is just standing. So basement it will be. So somewhere here it is having some kind of opening. So they will be using for storing of foods. Understand? So this is called as grain silos. Understanding? Silos for storing of food grains. So this is also using a understanding a grains also using for silos also used for storing the food grains on a large scale. So the grain silos are specially designed big and tall cylindrical structures. Understanding? So the grain silos have inbuilt arrangements for the protection of storage food grains from pests like insects and microorganisms. So inside itself, they're having some kind of protective layers. So here we no need to spray any kind of pesticides, or else we no need to keep any kind of rat poisons for killing the rats and all, because they're having a inbuilt arrangement. So while we are constructing this itself, we can arrange some kind of safety precautions to protect the food grains from pests like insects and some kind of microorganisms. So this is about the concept of storage of food grains. So storage of food grains will be done by two ways. That is, one is in gunny bags, understanding, in granary. So food grains stored in gunny bags in granary. So granary means what it is? Godowns, granary. And the next one is what? Food grains will be stored in grain silos. Okay. So like that, the last concept in this chapter is, see, these all till now, whatever the food grains we are getting, everything is coming from where? Coming from plants. So now, next we are going to study food from animals also. So we know that human used to eat so many kind of different animals. It is also a food for humans. So we used to getting food not only from the plants, also we are getting from the animals also. So that is only our next concept. That is what? Food from animals. Food from animals. Understanding? Food from animals. So if it comes to though we get most of our food from crop plants, animals also provide food for us. Understanding? Provide us food. Okay. So the food provided by animals consist of what? Different kinds of, we know that the most of the food which is provided by the animal is what? Milk. And from the birds we used to get eggs, and also we used to get a few animals we used to get meat. Understand? So the food obtained from animals is very rich in proteins. Very rich in proteins. So in fact, animal food provides certain proteins which are not present in plant foods. Not present in plant foods. That is why we used to, most of the people are non-vegetarians. They used to prefer food from the animals. So most of the food obtained from animals, they contains a good amount of fat, but it contains a very little of carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, if you take the wheat or rice and all the food grains from the plants, they most probably they will provide only carbohydrates. But if you take this food from the animals, they will provide a less amount of carbohydrates, but a little bit fats they contains. So animal food, however, contains minerals and vitamins also. Vitamins also it contains. It contains minerals, required minerals for the human growth, and also it contains vitamins. So the food obtained from animals is even more expensive than that of obtained from plant sources. So the animals which provide us food are mainly of two types. One is milk yielding animals, and the next one is what? Meat and egg yielding animals. Egg yielding animals. So this, what are the two types of animals which we are used to getting the food? One is milk yielding animals, also used to called as milch animals. MILCH, milch animals. Milch animals means what? Milk yielding animals. Milk yielding animals. And the next one is what? Meat and egg yielding animals. Understanding? Yielding animals. Understand? So if it comes to the examples of milk yielding animals or else milch animals are cow, buffalo, goat. We know that they used to give the milk for us. So milk is a perfect nutrient diet. Understanding? Nutrient diet. It is also, we can call it as a natural diet. So I used to take milk. Is a perfect, it is having so many kind of nutrients which is required, proteins, vitamins, minerals for the human growth. So milk is a perfect natural diet. Understanding? So milk and its products, like we can call them as a dairy products. So we used to see different kind of products from the milk. Everything like butter, ghee, curd, cheese are highly nutritious. Understanding? Nutritious foods. They are highly nutritious foods. Understanding? Nutritious foods. So the examples are like what? Understanding everything. What are the products which are coming? Dairy products we used to call as butter, ghee, curd, cheese. All are very highly nutritious products. Nutritious foods. So the examples of meat and egg yield animals are like, you can take goat. See, most of the animals we used to eat, sheep, fish. Understand? And we used to take a poultry. Poultry means what? Chicken. So chicken in the sense of poultry, what? Chicken, hen, duck. This all we used to eat, as well as for the eggs and also for the meat. So out of these all the animals, goat and sheep and fish are gives us meat. Goat, sheep, fish, they used to give meat for us, and poultry gives poultry means chicken, hen and ducks, they used to give us, understanding, a meat as well as eggs. Both we used to get from the poultry. So you can take another one, is like a bees, honey bees, we know that. So honey is the another nutritious food obtained from animals. So it is obtained from insects called bees. So bees also we can call it as honey bees. Honey bees or bees. So this is also honey, H-O-N-E-Y. Honey is one more, understanding, the most nutritious food which is obtained from animals. So this is called as a food from animals. Now, if you need to get a food from animals, we have to grow them like a food crop production. So like cultivation. So that is only called as animal husbandry. What they used to call animal husbandry. What is that? Animal husbandry. Animal husbandry. So like crop cultivation, just as each crop has its own requirements for proper soil, irrigation, manures and fertilizers, and weedicides, in the same way, each domestic animal has its own needs of food, shelter, and healthcare. Food, shelter, and healthcare. So if not, we won't get proper meat and a proper kind of milk and eggs. So the branch of agriculture which deals with the feeding, shelter, health and breeding of domestic animals is called animal husbandry, including breeding also. Breeding of domestic animals is also called as animal husbandry. What is that? Which deals with the feeding, shelter, health and breeding of domestic animals is called as animal husbandry. So the various practices necessary for raising animals for food and other purposes are proper feeding of animals. Understanding? So you just keep heading, what is that? The various practices necessary for raising animals for food and other purposes. Understanding? So or else we just keep heading that elements of animal husbandry. Means what are the precautions, what are the stages? Like crop production we're having is like a 7 stages. Like here also we have to take some kind of practices to maintain the raising of animals for food and other kind of processes. That is proper feeding of animals. Proper feeding of animals means proper supply of food. Like that. The next one is proper shelter for animals. Proper shelter for animals. Like that. Next one is prevention and cure of animal diseases. Prevention, like a humans. Prevention and understanding. Cure of animal diseases. And the next one is what? A proper breeding of animals. Proper breeding of animals. So these are the stages of elements of animal husbandry. So milk giving animals such as milch animals or milch cattle we can call it as MILCH, milch animals also we can call it as milch cattle, like cows, buffaloes are reared on a small scale in rural homes. On a large scale they are reared in big dairy farms. Big dairy farms. Understanding? Reared means they are growing them. Okay. Reared, REARED. Reared. Reared means what? Growing the animals. So like if it comes to fish as a food. So we know that fish is also a most common food for Indians and throughout the world. So fish as a food. So if it comes to fish as an important source of animal food. Is it correct or not? So many people living in the coastal areas, means seaside areas, we used to call it as seaside areas, means what? Coastal areas, means the surroundings of the ocean or else any kind of water bodies. So fish is an important source of animal food. Fish as a food. Fish as food. So if we take fish is an important source of animal food which contains a nutrient rich food. So many people living in the coastal areas, seaside areas consume fish as a major part of their diet. Fish is a daily, even people used to eat regularly every day also, those who are living in a coastal area. So fish is very rich in proteins. Very rich in proteins. So it is a highly nutritious. Understanding? Highly nutritious and easily digestible food. Digestible food means digestion process also very easy to easy for the fish. So fish liver oil is also rich in vitamin A and vitamin D, means we can extract some oil from the fish livers. So this oil is also very rich in vitamin A and vitamin D, which is most essential for the humans. So for example, if we take cod liver oil, what it is? Cod liver oil. Understanding? Cod liver oil means a cod fish liver oil. It is a type of fish, cod fish liver oil, or else cod liver oil. So it is very rich in vitamin A and vitamin D. Understanding? So whatever the oil which is coming is like a fish oil. Understanding? Fish liver oil, it is contains a very rich in vitamin A and vitamin D, which is very essential for the human growth. Understanding? And the daily activities. So we used to take most of the understanding people used to consume the food as a fish as a food. Okay, so with this, I'm going to end this today's class, and also this chapter is completed. Next class we are going to start some other chapter. Thank you.